It's Thursday, May 7th.
It's the 4,000 workers here in Mirabel that we appreciate all your hard work.
Landmark deal we'll tell you about involving AirAsia and Canada.
Well, the only thing that we were allowed to bring up was the recommendations.
We're learning more about why an NDP MLA left caucus to sit as an independent.
When you're off, you want it to come sooner, right? So now that we're out here, we're happy as ever. Players, staff, what a time.
It's officially the start of football season with the Rough Riders back in action up in Saskatoon. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning, Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Thursday.
It's a nice day out there today. At least it's starting to feel like golf weather again.
Absolutely, yeah. We're seeing a lot of those double-digit temperatures today, right around that seasonal average or slightly above. So a really great day on tap. All
those flus and sicknesses are going around, so I hope you all feel well out there. We'll get to news 6:01. We begin with this. After announcing she will sit as an independent MLA, former NDP MLA Betty Nippi-Albright says she left the party as a result of its stance on involuntary addictions treatment. Yesterday, she said she would sit as an independent after being muzzled by party leader Carla Beck.
It was the last straw for former NDP MLA Betty Nippi-Albright.
Well, the issue is this. I had prepared, based on this report, my response in Bill 48. And the directive was given to me by the leader to not make any reference to this report.
The bill allowing apprehension and involuntary treatment of those severely addicted passed in the legislature this week. A study commissioned for Betty Nippi-Albright warned that the legislation as drafted creates a heightened and foreseeable risk of selective racialized enforcement. It drew a parallel to residential schools policy. The NDP voted against the bill, but Betty Nippi-Albright suggests the party leader's views mirror those of the government.
Her statement about opposing Bill 48 has been performative when at the same time she has repeatedly stated she supports forced treatment.
Nippi-Albright's departure to sit as an independent MLA caught the NDP by surprise.
I'm surprised because we moved 17 amendments to change the bill based on that study that Ms. Nippi-Albright commissioned.
The NDP has lost a strong voice in the area of mental health and addictions. Reconciliation seems unlikely at this point. Betty Nippi-Albright says she has no plan to return to the party, while NDP leader Carla Beck says trust has been broken. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Regina City Council has approved the terms of an agreement which will see Brant take over some assets of the Real District and Regina's Exhibition Association operations.
There's a lot of risk to it, right? A lot of risk to it. Reputationally, there's a lot of risk to it. It's hard to satisfy everybody. We're going to try, but it's more public than what we're used to, right? So that was one of the considerations in doing it. But at the end of the day, I wanted to do it because Regina's been very good to us. We've done well here. We'd like to give back to the community.
This means Brant, owned by Sean Semple, who you just heard from there, will take over possession of the AgX buildings, Queensbury Convention Centre, the Brant Centre, and the parking lot west of Mosaic Stadium. Council passed that motion 8-3 last night. Councillors Flores, Radons, and Zakidniak voting against it. Brant will begin taking possession of assets in phases, the first by July 1st and the rest before fall.
You have to look at any deal holistically. As soon as we pick one thing and say we don't like the property tax element, we don't like the, a dispute resolution not being in the term sheet, and all these things, that leads it to the proponent and the other side of the deal to say, well, if you take that away, then I want to take this back. If we take the property tax away, then the city should pay for half the capital investment. That's the kind of thing that I would expect, because we can't say we like one thing or don't like one thing and expect for the other party to stay status quo.
Regina's mayor will be on set this morning on CTV Regina and Yorkton at 7:40 a.m. We're learning more this morning about that crash in Saskatoon we told you about yesterday. Jeremy Dodge, what have we learned?
Daryl, good morning. We learned a 14-year-old boy is one of 2 people charged in the crash on Idlewild Drive that critically injured an 82-year-old man. Police say the 82-year-old was driving a white van northbound on Idlewild Drive about 8 a.m. Tuesday when the dark-colored SUV heading southbound crossed into the median and struck the van, which then caught fire. Police say the SUV had been stolen out of Prince Albert. Courtman Park police were trying to stop it, but it took off from officers. The 14-year-old is facing charges of dangerous driving, causing bodily harm, failure to stop after an accident, and evading police. He and a 24-year-old man are also facing a charge of possessing stolen property over $5,000. The man is additionally charged with breaching court-imposed conditions. A third person arrested has not been charged. The 82-year-old man remains in hospital. Saskatoon property owners will be receiving their tax notices in the coming days and weeks. The city says it started mailing out more than 102,000 property tax notices yesterday. Anyone who doesn't receive one by May 31st should contact the city. City of Saskatoon says it's also planning to launch a new online service this fall. My Property is what it's called, aims to give residents the option to view, download, and manage property tax and assessment notices, utility bills, and other services. An access code for the online platform will be included in the 2026 property tax notices that are being mailed out. The city is reminding people their property taxes for this year are due June 30th, unless they are on that monthly payment plan, which is known as TIPS. All right, Daryl. U.S. President Donald Trump, now he says the war in Iran will be over quickly.
Said that before, hasn't he? Iran says it's still reviewing a new proposal from the U.S. to bring an end to the war.
We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon, and we're beating them badly, and they want to settle very badly. It'll all work out very quickly. But despite having that, some people would call it a war. I call it a military operation.
Sources said Washington and Tehran were closing in on a one-page memorandum. U.S. news outlet Axios reported that the 14-point memorandum of understanding with Iran could set a framework for more detailed nuclear negotiations. It reportedly lists a suspension on nuclear enrichment in Iran, the lifting of sanctions, and restoring the Strait of Hormuz. The report says the U.S. is expecting Iranian responses on several key points in the next 48 hours. Sources say this is the closest the parties have come to reaching an agreement since the war began. Meanwhile, Trump has threatened Tehran with a new wave of bombing if a deal isn't reached and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. The U.S. military fired on an Iranian oil tanker in hopes of putting pressure on Tehran. The military says the fighter jet shot out the rudder of a tanker in the Gulf of Oman as the vessel tried to breach the American blockade of Iranian ports. And now to the latest on the deadly outbreak of hantavirus on that cruise ship in MV Hondias. That vessel is now currently making its way from Cape Verde to Spain's Canary Islands, where it's expected to dock on Sunday. 4 Canadians remain on board that ship. 3 patients were evacuated from the ship on Wednesday. One of them was admitted to hospital in the Netherlands. 3 people have died in the outbreak, with 8 people suspected to have contracted the virus. Countries around the world are scrambling to track down dozens of passengers who left the ship nearly 2 weeks after the first passenger died on board. Once the ship arrives in the Canary Islands, all healthy passengers who aren't Spanish will be repatriated to their home countries. The Regina Pats took a goaltender with their first pick in last night's WHL entry draft. The Pats took Fletcher McDonald from Edmonton's Canadian Athletic Club. He becomes the highest drafted goaltender in franchise history. He's 14, already 6'3", had a 2.87 goals against average and .925 save percentage across 28 games last year. Saskatoon Blades took Tegan Durinsky, he's a forward. Swift Current Broncos had 2 picks. They got 2 defensemen, Jackson Bradbeer and Nathan Roberts. Here's the Pats GM on their pick.
It was the player we thought we would potentially get at number 9. We knew there were 3 or 4 high-end players that were probably going to go that we didn't have a shot at. And then for us, Fletcher was the next guy, and we're happy we got him.
The draft continues at 10 o'clock this morning. Let's get over to Kayleen Sawatsky with our code word of the day.
All right, Daryl, wake up and win with your morning and Affinity Credit Union. We could pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is grand. Head to the contest page at ctvsaskatoon.ca or ctvregina.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter grand with your info for your chance to win. The Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest, powered by Affinity Credit Union and Affinity for You. All right, let's turn our attention back outside. A beautiful start to the day, as you can see behind me in the Queen City. We're talking about a nice mix of temperatures across the province right now. Coldest temperature that we're seeing is far up in Collins Bay, -13. The warmest temperature in the province right now, Waseca at 7.7 degrees already. Clearly not at that in Regina right now. We're waking up to -3. Just a few clouds to start the day and very low winds coming in right now at 4 kilometers per hour. That cloud cover is going to be increasing quite a bit into the afternoon hours in parts of central and southern Saskatchewan, but the winds are going to remain fairly low today, mainly going up tomorrow. -1 to wake you up in Saskatoon. A lot more cloud cover, as you can see, but still a beautiful, very calm start to the day. Winds coming in at 11 kilometers per hour right now. Radar and satellite showing that we did get some precipitation late yesterday and into overnight, but it was mainly concentrating over that border with Alberta, so to the western part of Saskatchewan, where we saw most of that rain overnight, and that's also where we're seeing it right now. This is current on your screen. All those areas west of Saskatoon. It is a very small system, though, and it moves in. It kind of peaks around 8:15 this morning. So we're going to keep watching that. It does disappear for the most part, though, into the afternoon hours, other than just a little bit. A few spots right around Prince Albert. Still not a lot of precipitation in the afternoon today. We do have some more coming in during those evening hours. This is around 9:30 p.m. Again, all those areas lit up in green. And a larger system moving in for Friday afternoon. It's going to start right around Saskatoon there, and then it is going to track down through Regina as well. So Saskatoon and Regina both expecting just some light showers tomorrow. The yellow and red on your screen, though, could indicate the risk of a thunderstorm, so right around the Parkland region, and it exits the province down through that southeast corner. Today's forecast looking really nice, though. A couple places expecting 20 degrees. That includes the Battlefords and Swift Current. Again, though, Swift Current could be seeing just a few of those light showers for parts of the day. 18 degrees for Moose Jaw and Saskatoon, 17 degrees in Prince Albert, 17 degrees as well in Weyburn and Estevan, 16 degrees for Regina, and 15 degrees for Yorkton. I also want to mention, though, typically we see these highs around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. These highs are actually coming later in the day today. So if you're planning to doing any barbecuing around 5, 6 p.m., that's when we're actually going to be seeing these peaks.
Stock futures are holding gains, and Brent is falling for a third straight day as traders await updates on a potential U.S.-Iran peace deal that would reopen oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. A big insider trading scandal is brewing south of the border. U.S. federal prosecutors allege lawyers from top U.S. mergers and acquisitions firms provided tips on some of the biggest deals of the last decade to an insider trading ring that made tens of millions of dollars in illegal profits. At least 30 people have been charged. Maple Leaf Foods reporting sales for the first quarter that beat the average analyst estimate. Sales totaled $962.9 million compared to the estimate of $940.6. Curtis Frank, president and chief executive officer of Maple Leaf Foods, says our first quarter results reflect the disciplined execution of our strategic blueprint across the business. And Cascade's reporting sales for the first quarter that met the average analyst estimate as well. And those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Well, 10 years after their final show, the Tragically Hip are teaming up with an Ontario ice cream maker for something sweet and for a good cause. Martha Dairy says it partnered with the band on a new ice cream flavor, the Tragically Chip. It's a mix of maple whiskey flavor ice cream with dark chocolate chunks and cherry ripple. The company notes it was founded in
Bob Cajun.
I was going to say that too. Totally. Which is also the name of the Hip's beloved songs. The Tragically Chip goes on sale in late June, with a portion of the sales going to Breakfast Club Canada.
Very nice. Very
Can
nice.
you get that out here? I don't think you can.
Well,
can you?
I'm going to Kingston in a few weeks. I'll try to track them down and bring it back for you, Judy. I'm sure it'll last in my carry-on. I'm sure nothing will go wrong there.
Yeah, that won't be a mess.
Nothing will go wrong there. Question of the day.
Nice.
So this week is National No Screen Time Week. Trying to get that screen time down. I know screen time is a really bad habit for me. So we're asking you today, what's that bad habit that you're trying to kick?
It's a portion of it's part of the job. We had the screen time, and I'm right there with you. That's mine for sure. My vice.
Yeah, screen time, and also, as we've been talking about a lot on the show lately, I'm trying to kick sugar because I have such a sweet tooth. Such a sweet tooth. I have now. Still there? No, my official sugar challenge has ended. I'm allowed to eat sugar again now. But I love a good sweet treat, so I'm trying to kick that habit too. What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's the scrolling thing lately. I also need to stop not lifting weights. I started that bad habit a few months ago. I'm trying to get back on that train.
You're a fitness idol if I've ever seen one. Scan the QR code. Let us know what your bad habit is you're trying to kick. We're back in 2 minutes.
With Canada gearing up for the FIFA World Cup, there are calls now for better protection against brain injuries, especially for young players. Pauline Chan reports.
Kaya Gibson has been playing soccer since she was 4, and while she's a skilled player, she's had several concussions, the worst when she was in grade 5.
I was out of school for like a month and then out of soccer for, I think, over 5 months. It was a long time. So I had difficulty just like integrating back into school, and obviously I was off of screens for a long time, and I think it was mostly hard just from a social aspect.
What's really important for the public to understand is it's not just concussions. The primary risk factor on all this is the repetitive, non-concussive, cumulative impacts that somebody gets over the course of their career.
Former CFL player Tim Fleischer says if he knew as a youth what he knows now, he would have conducted his career differently and reduced the number of total brain impacts he had when he was a kid.
92% of Canadians support stronger rules to prevent brain injuries is an overwhelming statistic.
He's calling on Canada's top sports organizations to bring in strict standards to protect children's brains. Things like no heading the ball in soccer under age 13. Coach Tom Milligan says Oakville Futsal has banned heading for all its players under 18 for the past decade.
So yeah, you'll have the regular soccer or futsal type injuries, ankle, an ankle roll or a knee, might get their knees bumped. But outside that, there's been no head injuries that have occurred here.
Canada is behind countries like the UK in banning youth heading, and Oxford neuroscientist Holly Bridge says for young players, heading the ball is not a big part of the game.
The skill involved in actually getting your head to hit a football, those sort of anticipation skills that the brain needs to learn, actually, they're quite difficult.
She says taking it out of the game also reduces the risk of head-to-head collisions that are also a big cause of brain trauma for players. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The provincial government says more than 102,000 surgeries were performed in Saskatchewan in the last fiscal year. That's up more than 2,100 surgeries than the previous year as Saskatchewan works through a backlog of procedures. The province credits expanded capacity, robot-assisted surgeries, and private partnerships, along with scheduling efficiency, referrals, and patient preparation.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Your school day forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep your school zone safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina or Saskatoon, we're still in those minus temperatures this morning, -3 in Regina and -1 in Saskatoon. By lunchtime, though, warming up quite a bit. 12 degrees expected for Regina and 15 degrees for Saskatoon. That cloud cover will be increasing and winds will be remaining low. By final bell, 15 degrees in Regina and 17 degrees in Saskatoon. Those numbers are just below those expected afternoon highs. In Regina, the gas prices today, the average is $189.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $175.9. In Saskatoon, the average price is also $189.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $179.9. In the farm markets now, we find the street price of canola at $679.53 per ton. The futures price at $743.50 per ton. Amber Durum wheat now at $278.59 per ton, and red spring wheat at $293.62 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is down. It's at 73.39 cents US. Coming up on the show, we'll check in on Rough Rider rookie camp in Saskatoon. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It is 6:30. We begin with the flooding situation in the province. And we start in the RM of Lakeside, east of Saskatoon, where residents are dealing with the aftermath of severe flooding. Hallie Mandrick on the helplessness many feel.
This body of water used to be Leslie Fetter's backyard, but many of his possessions now sit underwater thanks to the significant flooding which has impacted many in the Watson area.
You can see how the water got about 30 feet from the house by the shoreline, all the grass and reeds that are left over there. There's concern. I mean, there needs a lot of water and you can't control it.
One of many communities under a state of local emergency due to the flooding, Watson is feeling the impacts of Saskatchewan's late snow melt.
No, it's going to be a lot of work to get things back to where it was and get things cleaned up and looking half decent again, but
the flooding has also been top of mind for emergency service workers like the Watson Fire Department.
There was a threat on Sunday morning. It went over the highway here west of town, and it was like, okay, we got to do something so our town doesn't flood. So basically at that point we set up detours, closed the highway down so no travelers were in jeopardy of getting hurt or anything. And then, from there it's basically you monitor, right? Mother Nature kind of does what she wants. And
down the road, Quill Lake has been under a state of local emergency since last Friday after severe flooding has left a series of roads in and around the community impassable.
No, this is the highest water levels I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've heard stories that maybe it's been as high or higher before, but I've never seen it.
Friesen says 54 separate sites in the area have either been completely washed out or damaged.
The majority of our grids have been impacted, so a lot of them have been closed down. We were running around trying to find routes where people could get from home to town or kids to school and stuff like that on the week or for Monday, and it was a real struggle. Like, it added probably 50-60 miles for some people.
While the flooding has caused a number of problems for the communities, Fetter says he's just thankful that everyone is safe.
Everybody's still standing, the house is still here, and like I said, now we can go fishing in the backyard if I want to.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, RM of Lakeside.
Much of the RM of Good Lake is still underwater due to recent snow melt. The road closure on Highway 5 is now lifted, but water near Buchanan is moving toward Patterson, with Good Spirit Lakes covering parts of Highway 47. Some areas of back roads were cut to allow the move of water a little faster. The community was hit by devastating flooding in 2010 and 11, after which some changes were made. But the Reeve says raising the culverts, it remains a divisive topic in the area. The current washout caught the RM by surprise, and they expect some level of erosion to the nearby sand dunes.
And by Sunday afternoon, there was water being released out of the lake. But in the meantime, the level of the lake did increase quite a bit. And so that was the one very major flood event that we had to minimize.
The RM is monitoring the situation and will discuss the issue during their regular council meeting on Monday.
Mops, we took vacuums, we tried to do whatever we could, we took buckets.
This is a look at Meadow Lake's food bank underwater. Last week, staff rushed to save supplies as city crews ran pumps inside. The flooding was triggered by heavy spring snow melt and made worse by an aging building with poor drainage. The water damage has worsened existing black mold. It's the latest problem with this 90-year-old building. Airbus Canada has landed a huge deal, securing a multi-billion-dollar sale with AirAsia.
Countries that have the confidence to open up, to link their economies, to invest in their workers, to move forward, not turn back.
AirAsia has signed on for 150 planes, the largest purchase of A220s in the manufacturer's history. The planes will be assembled on Canadian soil, and AirAsia says it would buy more if Airbus built a bigger version of the aircraft. The A220 planes seats 100 to 160 passengers and has a turbulent history. It was once Bombardier's C-Series, bailed out by Quebec, which still owns 25% of the program. The head of AirAsia, Tony Fernandez, expressed his confidence in Airbus and Quebec's aerospace industry, which eventually earned him a Montreal Canadiens jersey. A report says foreign actors from countries including the U.S. and Russia are using AI to push Alberta separatism online.
They write messages and have narratives that are close enough to something that you believe that you will send an article along without necessarily reading everything that's in that article.
According to the study, between December last year to April, Alberta separatism became one of the top Canadian topics on known disinformation networks. The content being pushed brings up themes of independence, Canada failing, and Alberta joining the U.S. The report warns the campaign will intensify if the separation referendum moves ahead. Privacy watchdogs now say OpenAI violated Canadian privacy laws when training its ChatGPT model.
Trained ChatGPT, OpenAI scraped vast amounts of personal information from publicly accessible websites.
This follows a 3-year investigation involving privacy commissioners from the federal government, BC, Alberta, and Quebec. It found personal data was collected too broadly and that sensitive information such as health conditions and political views were used. OpenAI has since agreed to strengthen safeguards and improve transparency. The federal government is in the process of drafting new AI legislation, but for now, lawmakers are relying on private companies to police themselves. Ottawa has said it's considering a social media ban for youth, and it looks like most Canadians support the idea. According to a Leger poll, 70% of Canadian respondents said they would support age restrictions for social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok. And nearly the same number, 69%, support restricting AI chatbots like ChatGPT. Overall, more than 80% of Canadian people say they are concerned about the potential negative impacts social media and AI could have on children and teens. Ottawa has promised to implement an online harms bill that could include age restrictions on social media and is considering whether to include AI chatbots in that legislation. With rising gas prices, some people are turning to unconventional methods of getting their hands on fuel.
Right here. They'll take a hole saw, they'll drill it in, and they'll stick a pipe in with a transfer pump, and it's done in minutes.
This mechanic southeast of Winnipeg says he's seen an uptick in cars being brought into his shop with damaged fuel tanks. The damage comes from people drilling directly into the tank and stealing the gas, a method he says is way faster than siphoning. The repair process is straightforward, but it's also costly and time-consuming. There's been a recent similar case involved in BC's interior and south of the border in the U.S. Trade representatives from Canada, the U.S. and Mexico are in Regina this week for a tri-national conference. The Premier delivered the keynote address at the North American Strategic for Competitiveness Annual Continental Reunion on Wednesday. In his speech, he addressed trade negotiations between Canada and the U.S.
And the reality is this, that our economies, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, are deeply integrated, and are integrated for a reason, a very important reason. This integration is what underpins North America's food, energy, and manufacturing security. So let me start with energy.
The conference wraps up today. Saskatchewan Roughriders rookie camp is officially open. The defending Grey Cup champions will be on the field at Griffith Stadium again today. Some of the athletes in this camp will move on to main camp, which opens over the weekend. There are some names Saskatchewan fans will be familiar with, including Regina Rams star Carson Sombach and Saskatchewan Huskies standout Daniel Wiebe. The head coach happy to be back out there.
When you're off, you want it to come sooner, right? So now that we're out here, we're happy as ever. Players, staff, man, what a time.
Main camp begins on Sunday.
On for Greenway. He's got Kozak moving to the net. Greenway, his shot scores!
The Buffalo Sabres scored on back-to-back power plays en route to a 4-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens. Game 2 tomorrow in Buffalo. The Anaheim Ducks also drew even with the Vegas Golden Knights with the 3-1 win last night. Let's get over to the Weather Center. Bring in Kayleen Sawatsky for a look at what we can expect today. Kayleen?
Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, we're talking about some pretty low wind speeds today, so that's a nice treat. Moving into tomorrow, though, not quite as lucky. These are going to be going up. Take a look over into Alberta, though. We see a lot of yellow building into the early afternoon, and then later into the afternoon, we see that tracking eastward into Saskatchewan. So areas around Kindersley going to be seeing the peak for those wind gusts right around 50 kilometers per hour. Other than that, though, a pretty nice day in Saskatchewan with fairly low wind speeds. Current temperatures out there also looking really good. Other than that pink color you're seeing far up in the northeast corner of the province, -6 to wake us up in Stony Rapids, -10 in South End, -3 in L'Orange, and -2 in Prince Albert. We are starting to see some of those positive temperatures, though. Spiritwood at 5 degrees right now. Down in the south, more of those positives, but mainly towards Alberta. Again, right along that border there. 4 degrees in Kindersley, 0 degrees in Swift Current, 1 degree in East End. Cooler through the southeast corner of the province, -5 in Estevan, -7 in Weyburn, -1 in Yorkton. If you're joining us from Saskatoon this morning, you're at -1, so not a bad start to the day. Regina's temperature has gone down in the past few minutes. We're currently at -3. Into the afternoon, though, it's going to be a gorgeous day. 20 degrees in the Battlefords, 20 degrees in Swift Current. We are seeing just a little bit of precipitation on our screen. The tracker showing that it's going to be very short-lived. It's not going to be impacting your entire day by any means. You're still going to be seeing a lot of sunshine. 18 degrees for Moose Jaw with a mix of sun and cloud, 16 degrees in Regina, 18 for Saskatoon, and 17 degrees for Weyburn and Estevan. Let's turn our attention now to that 7-day forecast. Tomorrow is the day that we are seeing quite a bit of rain around Saskatoon and Regina. It's going to be in Saskatoon a little bit earlier in the afternoon, and in the mid to late afternoon, we'll be seeing it in Regina, but it is going to be a nice start to the day tomorrow. 19 degrees in the afternoon, 13 degrees on Saturday, 18 degrees on Sunday, 18 degrees on Monday, and we're also tracking some precipitation on that day. 20 degrees on Tuesday and 22 degrees by Wednesday. In Saskatoon, with some of those showers in the early afternoon tomorrow, 17 degrees, 14 degrees on Saturday, 17 degrees by Sunday. And again, we're talking about more of that precipitation on the radar right now for many places in the province on Monday. 19 degrees, though, so temperatures are still really nice, and up to 21 degrees by the end of this 7-day forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Rookie camp is open for your Saskatchewan Roughriders as they try to win a second straight Grey Cup, something the organization has never done. Let's go up to the dorms at the U of S and join Rob Vanstone. Always fun when we ask a night owl to do morning television. Rob, how you feeling this morning?
More lucid than I was expecting at this hour. So your fine staff has is a wonderful effect on making people feel somewhat functional at this hour.
Let's talk about functional on the field. How do the rookies look after day one?
You know, it was interesting. The day one of the rookie camp, Corey Mace was lauding the defense after my cap isn't straight. Was lauding the defense after that workout. There were a number of big plays, or a lot of the big plays that were made by defensive players. So he's kind of issued the challenge to the offense to match that today. You could see the defensive backs. There's a lot of ability to track down footballs and provide pretty tight coverage. So it's going to be a tough secondary to find a job for any rookie. But I would say the defensive backs were the highlight yesterday. We're looking for the offense to ramp it up a bit today. And now that they know who they've got to face.
We knew we weren't going to see
nice catch by Daniel Weeb there.
We weren't going to see the Riders' first overall pick this year. We know he's got an NFL workout, but we did see pick number 2. How did he look, Mr. Jete?
He Dylan Jette wasn't able to practice yesterday. Had what Corey Mace referred to as a soft tissue injury. Nothing major. Probably should be on the practice field pretty soon. There's a Canadian starting receiver job open and some Canadian positions on the receiving core open. He's one of the more intriguing rookies. I'm looking forward to having a chance to watch him. He had his senior year of high school in Clearwater, Florida. He caught 34 passes. I think 13 of them went for touchdowns, and he averaged 27 yards per catch. So, I'm a stats nerd, so I'm looking forward to asking him about that.
Just got to see if those numbers translate to the pro game here in Canada. Let's talk local flavor. We've got Carson Sombach from the Rams up there. You mentioned Daniel Weeb is in there. And now they've signed Ryder Varga. So we got a little local flavor on the team this year, potentially.
Yes, and the first rider named Ryder in franchise history. Whether it's RYDER or RIDER, there has never been one. There's been, I think it's a 34th U of R Ram to be a member of the Rough Riders in some capacity. So I'm sure he'll be really excited to see the U of S again, given the rivalry between those two teams, and 18 special teams tackles as a career high. That he can help there and in the linebacking core.
And do you like and Ryder Varga, really quickly, we got about 30 seconds left, the addition of him?
Yeah, he's that's a really important move. But AJ Allen, a starting linebacker last year, a Canadian starting linebacker, signed with the Ottawa Red Blacks, and there's a need for depth at that position, Canadian-wise. So he's going to help there. He's going to help on special teams. That's a pretty significant move, and looking forward to meeting him very shortly.
Looking forward to all of your coverage on Riderville.com. Robbie, thank you for getting up this morning. I hope you can get back to bed and back to sleep easily.
Yeah. I hope I didn't put your viewers to sleep in the process. Thanks so much, Daryl. Great to chat with you.
Welcome inside the Sports Center newsroom. Matt Scooby with your must-see moment from Wednesday forward. We are heading to Tropicana Field. The Jays visiting the Rays. Bottom 8. Junior Caminero going to hit one to third. How about Kazuma Okamoto? Great diving stop. Throws out Caminero at first. Okamoto flashing the leather at the hot corner. Another great defensive play. Takes away extra bases for Caminero. That web gem, your must-see moment for Wednesday. Now, Thursday on TSN, you can catch MLB action when the Rays visit the Red Sox. Coverage of that starts 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
It's May 7th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a big happy birthday going out to Lexi. She's now officially a teenager. Happy 13th. Love always from your mom, Jared, Olivia, and Adelie. We're also sending a big happy birthday out to Jace. Enjoy your special day with love from all of your friends and family. Turning 6 years old today is Mason. Have a great birthday with love coming to you from your mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. Have a great day at school. Also celebrating today is Riley. Today is her 2nd birthday. We hope your day is filled with lots of fun with love from your grandma, grandpa, and Uncle Braden. And finally, happy birthday to Ambrose, now 11 years old. We hope this is your best year yet with love from your friends and family.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
What's happening in Radio Land today, Chase?
I am on the search. I want to find out who has the record, who has the longest rec sports team in the province. Text over 54321 with how long your team has been playing together. We're starting up our slow pitch league tonight, and this is going to be our 14th year. So no way is that going to be the record, but you know what? We're getting into respectable territory anyway. How long has your rec team been together? Let me know. What you play, your name, if maybe we can even say the name on air. Probably not, though, knowing the names of rec teams. And don't forget to name that sound coming up at 7:40 this morning. We've got $800 to play for today.
Of course you do, because that contest just drives everybody batty. Thanks so much.
It sure does.
Mr. think we can expect great things from you.
Season 1 hasn't even finished filming yet, but HBO has already renewed its new Harry Potter series for a second season. Season 1, called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, is set to premiere this Christmas. Season 2 will start filming in the fall. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a lousy seat at your favorite artist concert, how'd you like to pay $65 to watch them perform live on the big screen at your local movie theater? AMC Theaters are rolling that out next month, starting with concerts from the likes of BB Rexa and Paris Hilton.
I'm just getting started.
Thanks to the Michael Jackson biopic Michael, the late king of pop's music has moonwalked back onto the Billboard charts. His album Thriller is now number 7 on the album chart, while his classic hit song Billie Jean is back in the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100. And happy birthday to Jimmy Donaldson, better known as Mr. Beast. The YouTube star turns 28 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News.
We're open to barter. Win or
Jamie, what do you got for us?
Well, maybe time to trade that sweater for a swimsuit. We are all this person.
You are going to die. You see my nice leopard print jumper I got last week? I just washed it. You ready? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's what happens when you do not follow the care instructions, right? New leopard print sweater, tosses it in the washer and comes out with a doll sweater.
Yeah.
I did this back in February of this year, just a couple months ago. I bought a brand new brown, beautiful sweater. I wore it once. My husband put it in the dryer. It shrunk entirely, and I was Googling ways to try and salvage it. It was not able to be salvaged. So
now your daughter has a nice brown sweater.
Yes, exactly.
Silver linings. Silver linings. Canada Goose has a reputation that precedes them, and not the nicest or friendliest of birds, but this one may be different.
Hi. Did you miss me?
Director Corey said he got chased by one yesterday.
Yeah, because these birds are jerks.
Yeah, this is the prairie cobra chicken. This one apparently is very friendly to this person. Must bring them some sort of lettuce.
Yeah, he's looking for snacks.
I think I sent you the video a couple weeks ago, Sadie, my daughter, going, "How are you? How are you?" to the geese in the park.
And your husband's like, "They're not good. They're mad. Get away."
The geese are hissing at my daughter, and yeah, my husband's going like, "They're not good.
Not good. Not good. Don't feed them bread. That's bad." That's my PSA from my wife, who's an ecologist. We're back after this. It's Thursday, May 7th.
5 passengers sadly passed away last night. I'm told by the doctor were not infectious, but the ship is safe when it comes to this.
A passenger who was on the cruise ship hit by hantavirus says the situation wasn't taken seriously enough.
Well, the only thing that we were allowed to bring up was the recommendations.
We're learning more about why an NDP MLA left caucus to sit as an independent.
You know, when you're off, you want it to come sooner, right? So now that we're out here, we're happy as ever. You know, players, staff, man, what a time.
It's officially football season. They're up in Saskatoon getting ready. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Thursday.
It is a big day. Of course, rookie camp continues up in Saskatoon. They've got some decent conditions for that. On Monday, it snowed on our first game for U6 outdoor soccer here. Go Dingoes.
I know. You know, Saskatchewan just can't make up its mind when it comes to, hey, it's spring. We have some places getting 20 degrees today. Just a few days ago, there was snow in some places, rain on the way.
Isn't it crazy that it's snowing on us, Daddy? Like, yeah, crazy is the word I'm going to use.
It's Saskatchewan.
Let's get over to news. Kayleen's got your forecast in just a minute. After announcing she will sit as an independent MLA, former NDP MLA Betty Nippi-Albright says she left the party as a result of its stance on involuntary addictions treatments. Yesterday, she said she would sit as an independent, we told you on this program, after being muzzled by the party leader. She says Carla Beck told her not to publicly reference a report that was critical of forced treatment. The province passed legislation on Tuesday, and while the NDP did vote against it, Betty Nippi-Albright says the party's position mirrors the government's.
Well, the issue is this. I had prepared, based on this report, my response in Bill 48. And the directive was given to me by the leader to not make any reference to this report in my response to Bill 48 and to not bring anything up in the committee. So the only thing that we were allowed to bring up was the recommendations.
Carla Beck says the announcement came as a surprise. She also said supports forced treatment. She supports forced treatment in a select number of cases with proper safeguards. Regina City Council has approved the terms of an agreement which will see Brant take over some assets of the Real District and Regina Exhibition Association operations.
There's a lot of risk to it, right? A lot of risk to it. Reputationally, there's a lot of risk to it. It's hard to satisfy everybody. We're going to try, but it's more public than what we're used to, right? So that was one of the considerations in doing it. But at the end of the day, I wanted to do it because Regina's been very good to us. We've done well here. We'd like to give back to the community.
So this means Brant, owned by Sean Semple, who you just heard from there, will take over possession of the AgX buildings, Queensbury Convention Centre and the Brant Centre, along with the parking lot west of Mosaic Stadium. Council passing this motion 8-3. Brant will begin taking possession of assets in phases. Regina's mayor is in our green room right now. He'll be on set with me at 7:40 on CTV Regina and Yorkton. Viewers of CTV Saskatoon and PA, you will, of course, see a different conversation. WorkSafe Saskatchewan made their way to the Legislative Building yesterday, to announce their new strategic framework on health, safety, and well-being. Yesterday, they announced the refreshed holistic strategic framework to promote the next generation of prevention and total worker health safety in Saskatchewan, launched in 2002, looking to improve the province's injury rate. Back then, the injury rate was second highest in Canada at 4.95 per 100 workers.
We have developed something called learning collaboratives, where we bring employers together to focus on a very specific issue, whether it's challenges related to returning people to work or specific issues like ergonomics in manufacturing or psychological health and safety. Employers who are having similar issues, we're bringing experts into those groups, and we are working specifically with those employers to tackle those specific issues in those specific workplaces.
According to WorkSafe Saskatchewan, time loss injuries have decreased by 67%. In 2025, 89% of Saskatchewan workplaces reported 0 injuries or fatalities. Jeremy Dodge, we're learning more about that collision on Idlewild Drive up in Saskatoon. What do we know?
Yeah, Daryl, we have learned a 14-year-old boy is one of 2 people charged in this week's crash. The crash on Idlewild critically injured an 82-year-old man. Police say the 82-year-old was driving a white van northbound on Idlewild Drive about 8 a.m. Tuesday when the dark-colored SUV heading southbound crossed into the median and struck the van, which then caught on fire. Police say the SUV had been stolen out of Prince Albert. Corman Park police were trying to stop it, but it took off from officers. The 14-year-old's facing charges of dangerous driving, causing bodily harm, failure to stop after an accident, and evading police. He and a 24-year-old man are also facing a charge of possessing stolen property over $5,000. The man is additionally charged with breaching court-imposed conditions. A third person arrested has not been charged. The 82-year-old man remains in hospital. Nutrient Playland at Kinsman Park is scheduled to open just in time for Mother's Day. The city announcing the park will open for the season Sunday. Visitors can take in the ticketed rides. Tickets are $3.50 each or $8 for $21. One ticket gets you access to the Canpotex train, Ferris wheel, and carousel. Kids under 6 need to be with an adult. Tots 2 and under ride for free. The sand and climbing area are also free. Spray pad also there, but won't open until June 1st. Saskatoon property owners will be receiving their tax notices in the coming days and weeks. City says it has started mailing out more than 102,000 property tax notices. Anyone who doesn't receive one by May 31st should contact the city. And the city of Saskatoon says it's also planning to launch a new online service this fall. My Property is what it's called. Aims to give residents the option to view, download, and manage property tax and assessment notices, utility bills, and other services. An access code for the online platform will be included in the 2026 property tax notices being mailed out. The city is reminding people their property taxes for this year are due June 30th unless they are on the monthly payment plan. That plan is known as TIPS. All right, Daryl, the latest from Iran and the U.S. now.
Yeah, reviewing a proposal. U.S. President Donald Trump threatening a new wave of bombing unless a deal is reached. It includes opening the strait.
They want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal. Yeah, please. Thank you, Mr. President.
Axios is reporting that the White House believes it is near an agreement with Iran on a one-page memorandum of understanding ending the war. Provisions reportedly include a memorandum on Iranian enrichment of uranium, lifting U.S. sanctions on Iranian funds, and opening the Strait of Hormuz to shipping. Iranian state television says that Tehran is strongly rejecting the proposals reported by Axios, but adds it is still examining the latest proposal. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith faced more questions over a leaked voter list.
Created an office culture where it's either okay to be incompetent and not know that's a problem, or to be so deeply unethical and not care. So, Premier, which is it?
There was no way for him to know that this data was illegal. That was not disclosed in the call.
The Alberta NDP is attacking Premier Smith over a UCP staffer attending an online meeting held by the separatist group The Centurion Project. This was a training session on how to use a leaked voter list. We now know this list legally belonged to the Republican Party of Alberta, and it ended up somehow in the hands of the Centurion Project. Elections Alberta and police are investigating. Privacy watchdogs now say OpenAI violated Canadian privacy laws when training its ChatGPT model.
To initially train ChatGPT, OpenAI scraped vast amounts of personal information from publicly accessible websites.
I also expect that the findings...
Your investigation involving privacy commissioners from the federal government, BC, Alberta, and Quebec. It found personal data was collected too broadly and that sensitive information such as health conditions and political views were used. OpenAI has since agreed to strengthen safeguards and improve transparency. A U.S. judge has released an apparent suicide note from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. His former cellmate claimed he found it after Epstein's first jail suicide attempt. The undated and unsigned document reads, quote, "They investigated me for months and found nothing. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want to do, bust out crying, no fun, not worth it," end quote. The former cellmate says he found it in a graphic novel. Epstein was found dead in his cell in 2019. CTV News has not authenticated that Epstein wrote the note. Canada's trade war with the U.S. is having a real impact on alcohol industry in the U.S. The Distilled Spirits Council says it saw a 63% drop in exports to Canada in 2025, blaming the bans on American liquor in most Canadian provinces. The provincial government here says more than 102,000 surgeries were performed in Saskatchewan in the last fiscal year. That's up more than 2,100 surgeries than the previous year as Saskatchewan works through a backlog of procedures. The province credits expanded capacity, robot-assisted surgeries, and private partnerships, along with scheduling efficiency, referrals, and patient preparation. The Regina Pats took a goaltender with their first pick in last night's WHL Prospects Draft. The Pats took Fletcher McDonald from Edmonton's Canadian Athletic Club. He becomes the highest drafted goaltender in franchise history. He's 14, he's already 6'3", had a 2.87 goals against last year and .925 save percentage across 28 games. Saskatoon Blades took a forward, Tegan Derniski. The Swift Current Broncos, they bulked up on defense with Jackson Bradbeer and Nathan Roberts. Here's the Pats GM on their pick.
It was the player we thought we would potentially get at number 9. We knew there were 3 or 4 high-end players that were probably going to go that we didn't have a shot at. And then for us, Fletcher was the next guy, and we're happy we got him.
The draft continues today at 10 o'clock. Time to wake up and win, Kayleen.
All right, Daryl, wake up and win with CTV, your morning and Affinity Credit Union. We could pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is grand. Head to the contest page at ctvsaskatoon.ca or ctvregina.ca or scan that QR code on your screen. Enter grand with your info for your chance to win. The Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest, powered by Affinity Credit Union and Affinity for You. All right, let's turn our attention back outside. Let's start, though, by talking about some hot and cold spots in the province yet again. Waseca is still our hot spot. They have remained our hot spot for about 2 hours now. Right now, they're up to about 7 to 8 degrees is kind of where we've been seeing them fluctuate at. And South End has taken over that cold spot title from Collins Bay. They are around -7 to start the day. In Regina, though, we just bumped up into those positive temperatures, 1 degree. Winds are very calm to start your day, 6 kilometers per hour right now. We're not really seeing a whole lot of cloud cover to start the day. That is likely to be increasing into your afternoon. And where we're going to be seeing it increasing even more is through central Saskatchewan, including Saskatoon. We're already starting the day with quite a bit of cloud cover, and that's not really going to be going away into the later parts of the afternoon. 1 degree as well to wake you up in Saskatoon with calm winds, though, 11 kilometers per hour right now. They're not really going to be going up all too much into the afternoon either. We are going to be seeing quite a bit of wind gusts in areas around Kindersley, though. Here's a look at that radar and satellite showing that we did get some precipitation late yesterday evening and into overnight. Mainly we were seeing it over in Alberta, but again, it did break into Saskatchewan. Futurecast showing that right now out there we are seeing some precipitation in areas, again, right along that border with Alberta. Into the later parts of the afternoon, we do see it sticking around right around Swift Current. Into the mid-afternoon, we are seeing it in some areas through central Saskatchewan as well. And then overnight, we see a bit more of it moving in. It's not a large system, though, so we're not worrying too much about it today. What we are talking a little bit more about is a larger system coming in to impact parts of central and southern Saskatchewan tomorrow afternoon. It does reach Saskatoon right now on our radar about noon. What you're looking at is about 1 p.m., though, where bits of yellow start popping up. And that's where we're talking about the risk of some thunderstorms tomorrow as well, mainly growing right around the Parkland region. So Yorkton could be seeing some of those thunder showers. And then that system exits the province tomorrow evening, right around Estevan. Let's turn our attention to some afternoon temperatures, rather. 20 degrees for the Battlefords, 20 degrees for Swift Current, 18 degrees this afternoon in Moose Jaw with a mix of sun and cloud. More of that cloud cover, as we mentioned, through Saskatoon, but still reaching 18 degrees. 16 degrees for Regina this afternoon, 15 degrees for Yorkton, and a nice high of 17 degrees for Weyburn and Estevan. We're seeing some really nice temperatures in our rural forecast today. Warmer, though, towards that border with Alberta and less so towards that border with Manitoba. It's 21 degrees in Lloydminster and Kindersley, but we are expecting the winds to be going up there this afternoon, up to about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour with those gusts. Over to the east, Hudson Bay, 14 degrees, Wynyard, 14 degrees. Down in the south, seeing again more of that wind and a little bit of precipitation as well. Nice temperatures, though, 22 degrees for Leader and 22 for Maple Creek. 18 degrees with that cloud cover in Assiniboia, 16 degrees in Pilot Butte, and 15 degrees in Broadview. Let's take a look at Hanley, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. 18 degrees this afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds, and winds coming in up to 25 kilometers per hour.
Welcome inside the Sports Center newsroom. Matt Scooby with your must-see moment from Wednesday forward. We are heading to Tropicana Field. The Jays visiting the Rays. Bottom 8. Junior Caminero going to hit one to third. How about Kazuma Okamoto? Great diving stop. Throws out Caminero at first. Okamoto flashing the leather at the hot corner. Another great defensive play. Takes away extra bases for Caminero. That web gem, your must-see moment for Wednesday. Now, Thursday on TSN, you can catch MLB action when the Rays visit the Red Sox. Coverage of that starts 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Important for some people to have a side hustle.
Daryl's microphone is off.
Oh my goodness, there we are. It's important to have a side hustle, right? Which mine is apparently recharging my mic back. A forward for Toronto FC of the Canadian Premier League is really getting his name out there in the city's competitive real estate market. Take a look.
And number 77 has goals in back-to-back games.
That's an amazing, amazing celebration.
If you need a home in the GTA, you call Tomas Skublak. If you need a goal, you call Tomas Skublak.
So this fella scored the first 2 goals of Toronto's game last night, and he pulled out a business card from his shin guard to try to sell some homes because, you know, it's tough out there.
Yeah, everybody needs that side hustle.
What did you say here?
Use your platform.
The club posted online from showings to showtime. He delivers.
That is hilarious, and I respect the hustle.
Good.
Oh, let's go over to our question of the day.
So we're asking you today, what's a bad habit that you're trying to kick? And I just thought of another one for you, Daryl, and that is the fact that you always leave the room and you chat with guests or you use the washroom and you turn your microphone off and then you come back to do the news and it's never turned back on.
Yeah, I do that quite often. That's a thing.
A couple answers coming in through our text line, though. We had Michelle B saying a bad habit that I need to kick is drinking pop. Seriously, I'm hardly drinking plain water anymore. And that's what they say. That's where the sugar gets you, is in those pops, right?
That's right.
Leanne saying, I am in the middle of quitting smoking, doing great so far. We're proud of you, Leanne.
Absolutely.
That's a good one to be kicking.
Oh, no.
Someone on X was saying being a Cleveland Browns fan.
Did Jeff DeDecker send this in?
No.
He's a long-time Cleveland Browns fan.
Ronald saying he's trying to quit the internet. That one's hard in this day and age.
Best wishes.
Yeah.
The internet is everywhere.
The interwebs are all around us.
We want to hear from you, though, so text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply, of course, or you can scan that QR code on your screen. Let us know, what's that one bad habit that you're really trying to kick?
Stock futures are holding gains, and Brent is falling for a third straight day as traders await updates on a potential U.S.-Iran peace deal that would reopen oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. A big insider trading scandal is brewing south of the border. U.S. federal prosecutors allege lawyers from top U.S. mergers and acquisitions firms provided tips on some of the biggest deals of the last decade to an insider trading ring that made tens of millions of dollars in illegal profits. At least 30 people have been charged. Maple Leaf Foods reporting sales for the first quarter that beat the average analyst estimate. Sales totaled $962.9 million compared to the estimate of $940.6. Curtis Frank, president and chief executive officer of Maple Leaf Foods, says our first quarter results reflect the disciplined execution of our strategic blueprint across the business. And Cascade's reporting sales for the first quarter that met the average analyst estimate as well. And those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Time for our morning mystery. We've got 3 clues lined up for you. Let's see how we do today. Clue number 1. These bears are mostly found in and around the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, my home.
So we're getting closer to home.
Okay.
Their name derives from their brown or red fur. And clue number 3, despite their sweet name, you should always maintain a safe distance from them. It is not a challenge. Oh.
What?
I get it. I
What
get
does
it. I
that
get it.
last
I get
clue
it. That's what I
mean?
mean. That's what I mean. I get it. That's what that gave it to me. I'm confident.
It's not a challenge.
I'm confident.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Sweet name.
I know, sweet name.
JD's hammering something down.
I completely guessed.
Did you? Okay. Caitlin,
I put sugar bears.
Sugar bear, honey bear.
I put honey bear.
Do you remember recently the internet craze, the cinnamon challenge?
Oh,
the cinnamon bear,
yes.
red and brown fur.
Yes.
It's got to be it.
All right.
Show it to us. What do we got?
Yes.
Cinnamon bear.
Okay, I should have gotten that one.
Yes. If it wasn't for that
I've never
last
heard
clue.
of that.
If it wasn't for that last clue, my goodness, that is your morning mystery.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
Day forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zones safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina or Saskatoon, we are now into those positives. 1 degree, though, so barely. Seeing a mix of sun and cloud in both cities and low wind speeds to start your day. By lunchtime in Regina, 12 degrees, and by lunch in Saskatoon, up to 15 degrees. And by final bell, both cities will be sitting at those just under those expected daytime highs, rather. 15 degrees in Regina and 17 degrees through Saskatoon. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices. The average price in Regina is $189.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $175.9. In Saskatoon, the average price is also $189.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $179.9. In the farm markets this morning, we see the street price of canola at $679.53 per ton. The futures price $743.50 per ton. Amber Durum wheat now at $278.59 per ton, and red spring wheat at $293.62 per ton. The Canadian dollar is down this morning. It's at 73.39 cents U.S. After the break, flooding across the province is causing a number of problems. Stay with us for the details.
Good morning, just about 7:30 here on this Thursday. We begin with spring flooding in Saskatchewan, now forcing hundreds of people from their homes.
This is the highest water levels I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've heard stories that maybe it's been as high or higher before, but I've never seen it.
Quill Lake is one of more than 25 communities currently under a local state of emergency. Flooding has been leaving roads impassable there, with officials saying 54 sites either have been washed out or damaged. The RM of Buckland has also issued an evacuation order. Volunteers have been spending hours making sandbags to bring to high-risk areas. Residents of 2 northern Saskatchewan First Nations have also been evacuated due to flooding. Much of the RM of Good Lake is still underwater due to snow melt. The closure on Highway 5 is now lifted, but water near Buchanan is pushing toward Patterson and Good Spirit Lakes, covering parts of Highway 47. Some area back roads were cut to allow for the water to move faster. The community was hit by devastating floods in 2010 and 2011, you might remember, after which some changes were made. But the Reeve says raising the culverts remains a divisive topic. The current washout caught them by surprise, and they expect some level of erosion.
And by Sunday afternoon, there was water being released out of the lake. But in the meantime, the level of the lake did increase quite a bit. And so that was the one very major flood event that we had to minimize.
Last weekend, the RM hired a steamer to thaw Good Spirit Lake's control gates in order to release water into nearby White Sand River. The RM is monitoring the situation and will discuss the issue during their regular council meeting coming up on Monday. Turning now to Meadow Lake, where the flood left the food bank devastated.
We took mops, we took vacuums, we tried to do whatever we could. We took buckets.
Another setback for them. Here's a look at the food bank underwater last week. Staff rushed in to save supplies as city crews ran pumps inside. The flooding was triggered by a heavy spring snow melt and made worse by the aging building and poor drainage. The water damage has worsened existing black mold. It's the latest problem for this 90-year-old building.
No matter where you look, it's falling apart. And so we're between really needy and desperate.
The food bank, which also operates a soup kitchen, is now fundraising for a new building approved by Meadow Lake City Council to be built in this vacant lot you're seeing on your screen just a few blocks away from where they currently sit. Health officials are trying to track people who have gotten off the cruise ship hit by hantavirus. 3 people who were on the ship have died. The WHO says there are at least 8 cases, 3 of them confirmed. 3 people have been taken off the ship for treatment. There are still 146 people from 23 countries on board, including 4 Canadians. Experts are tracking an Andes strain of hantavirus known for human-to-human transmission. People who have gotten off the ship since it landed in countries including Switzerland, the UK and US. We are also now knowing that 40 passengers have disembarked from the ship since it left Santa Helena before the ship became stranded near Cape Verde. The cruise ship is now on its way to the Canary Islands. With gas prices rising, some people are turning to unconventional methods to get their hands on fuel.
Do it right here. They'll take a hole saw, they'll drill it in, and they'll stick a pipe in with a transfer pump, and it's done in minutes.
This mechanic southeast of Winnipeg says he's seen an uptick in cars being brought into his shop with damaged fuel tanks. The damage comes from people drilling directly into the tank and stealing the gas. It's a method they say is way quicker than siphoning it. The repair process is straightforward, but it's costly and it's time-consuming. There's been a recent rise in this issue in BC's interior and south of the border in the U.S. Trade representatives from Canada, the U.S. and Mexico are in Regina this week for a tri-national conference. The Premier delivered the keynote address at the North America Strategy for Competitiveness Annual Continental Reunion, long name, on Wednesday. In his speech, he also addressed recent trade negotiations between our countries.
And the reality is this, that our economies, Canada, the United States, and Mexico, are deeply integrated, and they're integrated for a reason, a very important reason. This integration is what underpins North America's food, energy, and manufacturing security.
The conference wraps up later today. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are back in Saskatoon to kick off the football season. Keenan Sorokhan had more from day one of rookie camp.
The boys are back in town. The defending Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Roughriders kicked off training camp Wednesday with rookies taking to the field.
When you're off, you want it to come sooner, right? So now that we're out here, we're happy as ever. Players, staff, what a time.
More than 60 players are in Saskatoon for rookie training camp, which does include some exceptions like veteran quarterback Trevor Harris. Included in the crop of players are 2 Saskatchewan standouts in the Canada West Conference the last few years. Daniel Wiebe is looking to make the team after attending training camp last year before going on to break team records with the U of S Huskies as a Heck Crichton finalist.
That's exciting. I love to compete in every day's competition, so it's good to be back for sure. I still got a long ways to go for sure. Today I didn't really play as good as I would like to, so got to be better tomorrow and got to go to the film room.
Carson Sombach signed his pro contract on Monday after a successful 5 years with the U of R Rams. Coming from a tight-knit football family where he and his 3 brothers grew up around the game, there's no other jersey he'd rather be wearing.
I grew up watching, born and raised in Regina, so it's just cool to be out on that field, wearing the logo and being around all the guys, all the coaches. It's been a super cool experience so far.
Sombach's brother Jackson plays for the Calgary Stampeders and has helped prepare him for what to expect for the long days of preparing for a professional football season as the grind of training camp begins.
I haven't had to practice that long in a while, so yeah, I'm feeling a little bit, but I'm going to go hit treatment and I'll be 100% for tomorrow.
Rookie camp continues Thursday and Friday before main camp opens on Sunday. Keenan Sorokhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatoon dancer is taking center stage and breaking barriers while she's at it. With more than 2 decades of experience, Sherilyn Turgeon is proving that passion and perseverance can redefine what dance looks like. Carla Shinkaruk reports.
From her first moves at just 3 years old, Sherry Turgeon found her rhythm and never missed a beat.
Yeah, I love what I'm able to do. It's a lot of fun. It's my main source of activity.
Her journey has taken her across Canada and even to New York City, proving dance is about individuality and standing out.
Yeah, a lot of people think that because you're disabled, you can't. do dance, or you're meant to like be in a care home or whatever. And I'm like, no, you can do whatever you put your mind to.
She performed at Telemiracle, film festivals, fashion runways to competition floors, challenging perceptions along the way. She recalls one memorable adjudication.
All you hear is the adjudicator just go, ah, when I went out on stage. And then by the end, she's like, I'm crying.
At the Dance World Cup, she didn't just show up, she showed off, taking home gold 3 times and making history as one of the only wheelchair dancers to qualify. And she qualified for Worlds again, heading to Quebec in July.
Oh, I'm thrilled for her. Sherry works so hard, and she is always at the studio.
Turgeon teaches here at this studio in Saskatoon, helping others with physical or other challenges find their groove.
She inspires kids who are watching her on stage and in class every day. That you can move and you can dance.
People are often curious when she dances, not just by the performance, but by the process behind it.
People just generally ask me, like, well, how do you do it? Like, you're in a chair. And I said, you just adapt the movements.
For Turgeon, life isn't about sitting on the sidelines. It's about taking center stage and dancing to your own beat. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
No one cheering her on more than dance instructor Kayleen Sawatsky.
Former dance instructor. Those days are long behind me. Hey, in the Weather Center now, happily, let's talk about those low wind speeds today for a lot of places across the province, except for right along that western border with Alberta there. Kindersley could be seeing some wind gusts up to about 50 kilometers per hour. Also joining with that around Lloydminster, seeing some of those higher wind gusts. Other than that, we're not really seeing too much in terms of those wind gusts across the province today. So that's going to be nice. They are going up tomorrow, though, so enjoy the calm day today. Current temperatures out there, we are seeing that south end is still our cold spot at -7 now, -3 through Stony Rapids, -1 in La Ronge, 0 degrees to wake you up in Prince Albert and Hudson Bay, and warmer through Spirit Woods, 7 degrees already. We are seeing more of that warmth close to the Alberta border there, 7 degrees in East End, 5 degrees in Swift Current, 5 degrees in Kindersley, 0 degrees, though, through Moose Jaw. The warm-up should be happening very quickly here, 1 degree in Regina and Saskatoon, 2 degrees through Yorkton to start your day. Into the afternoon today, seeing some really nice temperatures, although again, you're getting a little bit confused because we're seeing some of that precipitation. You see the snow icon in Prince Albert. Don't worry about that. Could more likely be coming in the form of just some little bits of drizzle. 16 degrees, 20 degrees through Swift Current and the Battlefords, 18 degrees through Moose Jaw, 18 degrees through Saskatoon, 16 degrees for Regina, and 17 degrees expected in Weyburn and Estevan with that mix of sun and cloud. Although we are expecting the highs to be hitting a little bit later on into the afternoon today than we typically see them at. Usually we see them at about 3 o'clock. Today we're seeing temperatures peak around 5 to 6 o'clock. 7-day forecast in Regina showing that we do have some more rain on the way for many parts of the province tomorrow. It's going to be through central Saskatchewan a little bit earlier. Saskatoon starting to see it around noon, and then Regina seeing it in the mid to late afternoon, but 19 degrees in the afternoon tomorrow with that high and that precipitation rather. 13 degrees on Saturday, 18 degrees by Sunday, and 18 degrees by Monday. Also seeing some rain on our radar. 20 degrees on Tuesday and 22 by Wednesday. So things are really warming up by the end of that 7-day forecast. Tomorrow in Saskatoon, we talked about that rain starting around that noon hour. 17 degrees though, 14 degrees by Saturday, 17 degrees on Sunday. Again, more rain on the way on Monday, 19 degrees. And then again, the end of the 7-day forecast, seeing some really nice temperatures of 21 degrees for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Brant has officially been approved to purchase 3 of the buildings on the Real campus, including taking over their operations and the west parking lot of Mosaic Stadium. Mayor Chad Buczynski is in studio with us this morning. How big a deal is this? Finally past these hurdles, and now we're on to the next steps.
Yeah, it's exciting. And again, there's a lot of work still to be done. This is the first step to get the term sheet approved, and it was approved last night. So the next steps are to get that definitive agreement completed, which is going to take a lot of work. There's a lot of legalese and things that need to happen, but this is the first hurdle to get over on this proposal.
At what point does Brant officially officially take over those buildings?
Yeah, it'll be a staged approach. I think starting in July through to the fall, and so yeah, as that agreement gets finalized, then there'll be a transition period over the next number of months.
Some people might look at this as just a real estate transaction deal. What does it actually mean to the taxpayer at home?
I would say twofold. First and foremost, and something that I'm obviously very passionate about, is our infrastructure. And this facility and our site at Real, we estimated nearly $80 million in infrastructure deficit. That's $80 million that our taxpayers would have to pay in order for us to get those buildings back up to where they need to be. This takes that risk off of the city's books. And so, when I talk about the South Trunk project that we got $29 million for, the Taylor Field project getting $14 million for, this deal where we've offloaded $80 million, and thinking about the Northwest Lift Station where we have an application in, we're upwards of $100 million or so that we've pulled off of our infrastructure deficit this year alone. So that's a passion of mine and something we'll continue working on. The other side of it is the community good and the community benefit. And
this looks community good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when we look at the vision of what this brings to our city, the contacts, the investment in those buildings, and again, just the events, the concerts, the conferences that we can bring to the city, and really lean into that facility and have it live up to its potential, I think is extremely exciting for us.
There's got to be some other logistical hurdles, right? There's some user groups that rely on some of these buildings, like the pickleball clubs and the agribition for these buildings. How are you able to work this so that everybody's happy?
Yeah, there's still, there's bumps along the way on this for sure. For agribition, there was a lot of work done to build some safeguards into the agreement to make sure that we protect some of those major events and considerations for those community events. And then some of the, but at the end of the day, some of the groups and users, that'll have to be sorted out with what that overall vision is and see if we can help navigate, partnership with Brant, the city, and those user groups to see if we can, ensure that they still have a place to go.
There are people in Saskatchewan who don't like the idea of privatization and might see this as privatization. What do you say to them?
For me, it's about weighing the pros, the cons, and the risks about, when I look at this deal compared to what we're doing today and what has happened over the last number of years around that district. And, a big credit to, the board and the Real organization, especially over the last year. Those folks have done an incredible job of trying to stabilize where we're at.
And keep employees.
And keep employees, absolutely. But ultimately, there is still an $11 million subsidy that the city is paying, and there's still an $80 million infrastructure deficit that we need to tackle. So for me, this is the more viable path forward. And when I look at the vision of what it can be, and frankly, what I believe it will be, I think it's a transformational point for our city.
Can't be all business. What are you doing for fun these days?
Well, this has consumed a lot of time, obviously. Yeah. But, really, I'm looking forward to summer. We finally got some good weather coming. But I will highlight today at lunch, we have a mental health luncheon happening in support of the Caring Place over at the Connexus Arts Center. And really looking forward to talking about something that I feel very passionate about in our city and just for everybody.
And that's a tease, we call that in the biz, because at 8:40 this morning, we're going to learn a little bit more about that. Thanks, Chad.
Thanks so much.
Here's what's happening in our community. The Spring Fling Art Show and Sale happens May 8th and 9th at Living Hope Alliance Church on Green Falls Drive, prairieartistguild.org. World Migratory Bird Day, May 9th at 10 a.m. Saskatchewan Science Center. They've got an event, naturesask.ca. Town and Country Social Dance at Church of Our Lady in Moose Jaw, May 9th, 7:30 p.m. Call 306-630-1492. And Chase the Ace out at Kipling Recreation Center, May 6th and 13th at 7:30 p.m. Call 306-495-8238 for more. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
It's May 7th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a big happy birthday going out to Lexi. She's now officially a teenager. Happy 13th. Love always from your mom, Jared, Olivia, and Addie Lee. We're also sending a big happy birthday out to Jace. Enjoy your special day with love from all of your friends and family. Turning 6 years old today is Mason. Have a great birthday with love coming to you from your mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. Have a great day at school. Also celebrating today is Riley. Today is her second birthday. We hope you have a day filled with fun. Lots of love from your grandma, grandpa, and Uncle Braden. And happy birthday to Ambrose, now 11 years old. We hope this is your best year yet with love from your friends and family.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
All right, Chase, what's going on over there?
Well, we just talked to Amanda for a name that sounded, oddly enough, her husband actually played yesterday. Both family members got it wrong, though, so another $50 has been added to the pot. We're at $850. Her guess this morning was Swirling Ice, but again, not right, so $440 this afternoon. Your next chance to play with Brandon, and we're continuing on our search. Who has the longest rec team? Who has been playing together for the longest out there? Our current record, Sarah has been topping it. She said 28 years her slow pitch team has been together. They started playing together when they were 15, and 28 years later, still together. So can anyone beat that? Do we have a 30-year out there for a rec team? You can text over 54321.
All right, thanks, Chase. We'll see you again tomorrow.
We'll see you then.
This life. I wouldn't change a thing.
But change is coming. Here's your first look at the Legally Blonde prequel series, Elle. The future Harvard lawyer loses her glam teen life in Bel Air when her family moves to nearly blonde-free Seattle. Elle premieres July 1st on Prime Video. Glenn Close is the latest star to leave her handprints and footprints at the TCL Chinese Theater Courtyard in Hollywood. At age 79, the 8-time Oscar nominee says she's nowhere close to hanging it up.
I still am fascinated and challenged by what it means to be an actor and how to try to interpret what it means to be a human in stories that I think are worthwhile.
I'm fired up, ready to go. No, same.
Showtime! Fans will get one more serving of The Bear. FX has announced the 5th and final season of the award-winning series will debut June 25th, with all 8 episodes available to stream at once on FX and Hulu. Manja, baby. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I don't want you to hide from Mom.
What are you off for us, Khalid?
All right, well, what about dancing across a finish line instead of dashing across it? This is the finish line of a half marathon in South Africa. After completing it, the runner decided to celebrate by breaking out some dance moves as she headed towards that finish line. Although she didn't win a medal, she definitely finished the 21-kilometer run in style with the crowd clapping, cheering her along. So, I mean, hey, you don't have to win, you just got to have fun.
Hurts her finish time a little bit, but whatever, it's worth it.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, this runner is going to be the most memorable.
Yeah, you finished. That is the big takeaway there.
Exactly.
Good for you. Canada Goose, they have a reputation that precedes them, especially around Wascana Lake. This one seems a little friendlier, though.
Hi. Did you miss me?
I like the banner we put up is nice Canada Goose, because people know.
Yeah, the fact that it makes news when there's a nice one.
Yeah, don't call us if you see a mean one. We know.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Don't feed geese bread. It's bad for them. It gives them a condition called angel wing, which messes up their flight. So just...
don't feed any wildlife.
Yeah, don't feed any
wildlife. That's not our
place.
place.
If you're going to, lettuce is a good option for you.
Rule of thumb.
Jeremy, we got time for just about one more.
Okay, so we're thinking of trading sweaters for swimsuits. And when that happens, we are all this person.
You are going to die. You see my nice leopard print jumper I got last week? I just washed it. You ready? Come on. Yeah.
No.
You gotta follow the care instructions.
Oh,
boy.
Yeah, sometimes the dryer is the enemy with clothing these days.
At least she's a good sport about it.
Fill up that coffee. We're back in 2 minutes. It's Thursday, May 7th.
It's the 4,000 workers here in Mirabel that we appreciate all your hard work.
Airbus Canada has landed a landmark deal with AirAsia worth billions of dollars.
Well, the only thing that we were allowed to bring up was the recommendations.
We're learning more about why an NDP MLA left caucus to sit as an independent.
When you're off, you wanted to come sooner, right? So now that we're out here, we're happy as ever. Players, staff, what a time.
Official start to football season. Rookie camp is now open. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Thursday.
Big important question in my life is it going to snow on my U6 dingoes tonight?
No, it should not snow on your dingoes tonight, Daryl. Again, a sentence I never thought I was going to say. It won't snow on your dingoes.
We're playing against the elands, which is like some sort of weird overgrown yak. I don't know who named
came
these
up with
teams.
that name. Yeah, you're one of the coaches for the dingoes. Did you choose that?
I didn't choose the name. No, I just got handed it in the highlighter green jerseys.
But here are some dingoes. Enjoy.
Who is like, you know what? We could go with elephants or.
Some of the parents of those are probably watching right now, and they're going to come to the game tonight, and they're going to say, hey, I got to talk to you about the origin of this name.
You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, we didn't know how to pronounce it until now. We looked it up. 8:01, let's get to news. Former NDP MLA Betty Nippi-Albright says her sudden departure from the opposition caucus yesterday was due to her feeling muzzled over the Compassionate Intervention Care Act, a newly passed law that will force seriously addicted people into treatment. Nippi-Albright says she was told not to talk about a report by the leader. Here's Wayne Mantika.
It was the last straw for former NDP MLA Betty Nippi-Albright.
Well, the issue is this. I had prepared, based on this report, my response in Bill 48. And the directive was given to me by the leader to not make any reference to this report.
The bill allowing apprehension and involuntary treatment of those severely addicted passed in the legislature this week. A study commissioned for Betty Nippi-Albright warned that the legislation as drafted creates a heightened and foreseeable risk of selective racialized enforcement. It drew a parallel to residential schools policy. The NDP voted against the bill, but Betty Nippi-Albright suggests the party leader's views mirror those of the government.
Her statement about opposing Bill 48 has been performative when at the same time she has repeatedly stated she supports forced treatment.
Nippi-Albright's departure to sit as an independent MLA caught the NDP by surprise.
I'm surprised because we moved 17 amendments to change the bill based on that study that Ms. Nippi-Albright commissioned.
The NDP has lost a strong voice in the area of mental health and addictions. Reconciliation seems unlikely at this point. Betty Nippi-Albright says she has no plan to return to the party, while NDP leader Carla Beck says trust has been broken. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Regina City Council has approved the terms of a sale of some assets to Brant.
There's a lot of risk to it, right? A lot of risk to it. Reputationally, there's a lot of risk to it. It's hard to satisfy everybody. We're going to try, but it's more public than what we're used to, right? So that was one of the considerations in doing it. But at the end of the day, I wanted to do it because Regina's been very good to us. We've done well here. We'd like to give back to the community.
That means Brandt, owned by Sean Semple, who you just heard from there, will take over possession of the AgX buildings, Queensbury Convention Centre and the Brandt Centre, along with the west parking lot of Mosaic Stadium. Council passed the motion 8-3 last night. You just heard the mayor talk about it on our program. Brandt will begin taking possession of assets in phases, the first by July 1st. In other news this morning, WorkSafe Saskatchewan made their way to the Legislative Building yesterday to announce their new strategic framework on health, safety and well-being. Yesterday, they announced the refreshed holistic strategic framework to promote the next generation of prevention and total worker and work-safe health in Saskatchewan, launched in 2002. Looking to improve the province's injury rate. Back then, the injury rate was second highest in Canada at 4.95 per 100 workers.
We have developed something called learning collaboratives, where we bring employers together to focus on a very specific issue, whether it's challenges related to returning people to work or specific issues like ergonomics in manufacturing or psychological health and safety. Employers who are having similar issues, we're bringing experts into those groups, and we are working specifically with those employers to tackle those specific issues in those specific workplaces. And re-elected.
According to WorkSafe Saskatchewan, time loss injuries have decreased by 67%. In 2025, 89% of Saskatchewan workplaces reported 0 injuries or fatalities. We're learning more this morning about that crash in Saskatoon. Jeremy Dodge, who was behind the wheel?
Daryl was a 14-year-old boy. He's one of 2 people charged in this week's crash on Idlewild that critically injured an 82-year-old man. Police say the man was driving a white van northbound on Idlewild about 8 a.m. Tuesday when the dark-colored SUV heading southbound crossed the median and struck the van, which then caught on fire. Police say the SUV had been stolen out of Prince Albert. Corman Park Police were trying to stop it, but it took off from officers. The 14-year-old's facing charges of dangerous driving, causing bodily harm, failure to stop after an accident, and evading police. He and a 24-year-old man are also facing a charge of possessing stolen property over $5,000. The man is additionally charged with breaching court-imposed conditions, and a third person arrested has not been charged. The 82-year-old man remains in hospital. Saskatoon property owners will be receiving their tax notices in the coming days and weeks. The city says it started mailing out more than 102,000 property tax notices yesterday. Anyone who doesn't receive one by May 31st should contact the city. The city of Saskatoon says it is also planning to launch a new online service this fall. My Property aims to give residents the option to view, download, and manage property tax and assessment notices, utility bills, and other services. An access code for the online platform will be included in the 2026 property tax notices being mailed out. The city is reminding people that property taxes for this year are due June 30th unless they are on the monthly payment plan, which is known as TIPS. Well, Daryl, Iran says it is reviewing the latest proposal from the U.S. aimed at ending the conflict over there.
Yeah, U.S. President Donald Trump threatening a new wave of bombings unless a deal is reached that includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
They want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours, and it's very possible that we'll make a deal. Yeah, please. Thank you, Mr. President.
Axios is reporting that the White House believes it is near an agreement with Iran on a one-page memorandum of understanding on ending the war. Provisions reportedly include a moratorium on Iranian enrichment of uranium, lifting U.S. sanctions on Iranian funds, and opening the strait to shipping. Now, Iranian state television says that Tehran has strongly rejected the proposals reported by Axios, but adds it is still examining the latest proposal. America's top diplomat visited the Vatican this morning in a move to ease tensions after U.S. President Donald Trump's verbal attacks against Pope Leo. Marco Rubio met with Pope Leo behind closed doors. Rubio's audience with the Pope was complicated at the last minute by Trump's disparaging attacks on the Chicago-born pontiff over the Iranian war. The U.S. State Department says Rubio and the Pope discussed efforts to achieve a durable peace in the Middle East. This morning, Rubio will meet with the Italian Prime Minister as well tomorrow. Prime Minister Alberta Premier Danielle Smith faced more questions over a leaked voter list.
In an office culture where it's either okay to be incompetent and not know that's a problem, or to be so deeply unethical and not care. So, Premier, which is it?
There was no way for him to know that this data was illegal. That was not disclosed in the call.
NDP is attacking Premier Smith after a UCP staffer attended an online meeting held by a separatist group called the Centurion Project. This was a training session on how to use leaked voter lists. We now know this list legally belonged to the Republican Party of Alberta, and it somehow ended up in the hands of the Centurion Project. Elections Alberta and police both investigating. Airbus Canada has landed a huge deal, securing a multi-billion-dollar sale with AirAsia.
That have the confidence to open up, to link their economies, to invest in their workers, to move forward, not turn back.
AirAsia has signed on for 150 planes, the largest purchase of A220s in the manufacturer's history. The planes will be assembled on Canadian soil, and AirAsia says it would buy more if Airbus built a bigger version of the aircraft. The A220 seats about 100 to 160 passengers and does have a turbulent history. It was once Bombardier's C-Series, bailed out by Quebec, which still owns 25% of that program. The head of AirAsia expressed his confidence in Airbus and Quebec's aerospace industry, which eventually earned him a Montreal Canadiens jersey. Saskatchewan Roughriders back in Saskatoon to kick off football season with rookie camp now open. Keenan Sorokon reports.
The boys are back in town. The defending Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Roughriders kicked off training camp Wednesday with rookies taking to the field.
When you're off, you want it to come sooner, right? So now that we're out here, we're happy as ever. Players, staff, what a time.
More than 60 players are in Saskatoon for rookie training camp, which does include some exceptions like veteran quarterback Trevor Harris. Included in the crop of players are two Saskatchewan standouts in the Canada West Conference the last few years. Daniel Wiebe is looking to make the team after attending training camp last year, before going on to break team records with the U of S Huskies as a Heck Crichton finalist.
That's exciting, I love to compete in everyday's competition, so it's good to be back for sure. I still got a long ways to go for sure. Today I didn't really play as good as I would like to, so got to be better tomorrow and got to go to the film room.
Carson Sombach signed his pro contract on Monday after a successful 5 years with the U of R Rams. Coming from a tight-knit football family where he and his three brothers grew up around the game, there's no other jersey he'd rather be wearing.
I grew up watching, born and raised in Regina, so it's just cool to be out on that field wearing the logo and being around all the guys, all the coaches. It's been a super cool experience so far.
Sombach's brother Jackson plays for the Calgary Stampeders and has helped prepare him for what to expect for the long days of preparing for a professional football season as the grind of training camp begins.
I haven't had to practice that long in a while, so yeah, I'm feeling a little bit, but I'm going to go hit treatment and I'll be 100% for tomorrow.
Rookie camp continues Thursday and Friday before main camp opens on Sunday. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
So many reasons to watch this program, but money's a big one.
Yeah, wake up and win. With CTV Your Morning and Affinity Credit Union, we could pay your bills with a massive $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is grand. Head to the contest page at ctvsaskatoon.ca or ctvregina.ca or scan that QR code on your screen. Enter grand with your info for your chance to win the Your Morning $20,000 Pay Your Bills contest, powered by Affinity Credit Union and Affinity for you. All right, let's turn our attention back outside. We have the same hot and cold spots as last hour, although the temperatures have changed just a little bit. Waseca as the hot spot at 8 degrees right now, and South End still the cold spot at -6 degrees. Here in Regina, we have really started to warm up in the past few minutes. We're now at 5 degrees. We have been seeing some clouds out there, but not quite as much as what we're seeing through central Saskatchewan. Southwest winds coming in at 11 kilometers per hour to start our day. Here's a look at Saskatoon. Again, seeing more of that cloud cover. 4 degrees right now to wake you up. Again, that temperature's been fluctuating a little bit. The high through central Saskatchewan, in Saskatoon as well, going to be just a little bit warmer than in Regina later on today. Let's turn our attention now to those radar and satellite, because we did get some precipitation overnight. It came in from Alberta and it impacted areas in the north, in central Saskatchewan and down south, and it's still continuing to impact us even now. We saw it starting to peak around 8:30 this morning, but it does seem to be going down even from this moment onwards. So if you're waking up with us in any of those areas, getting any of that precipitation right now, don't worry too much. It is going to be starting to disappear for a lot of places into the afternoon. It does increase, though, slightly into the evening hours, areas around Prince Albert and areas south of Regina as well. Tomorrow afternoon, we do see a bit of a larger system making its way in. Saskatoon, you're going to be seeing it in your early afternoon, likely starting around noon. And then later into the afternoon, we see it right around Regina and the Parkland region. And that's where we also are seeing the amount of yellow and red on the screen increasing as it moves off into Manitoba. So that does indicate a risk of some light thunder showers as well. Today's forecast with those that very light precipitation in some areas, but the Battleford's reaching 20 degrees, Swift Current as well. 18 degrees for Moose Jaw, 18 degrees for Saskatoon and Prince Albert, 16 degrees. 16 degrees in Regina, 17 degrees through Weyburn. We were expecting about 17 degrees for Estevan, but that number has gone down ever so slightly in the past few minutes. So now projecting that high at 16 degrees and 15 degrees for Yorkton. 7-day forecast looking really good. A couple days with some precipitation, but by the end of the 7-day forecast, it's going to be really, really warm. And that's not just in Regina, it's also for Saskatoon, reaching those highs over 20 degrees by Tuesday and Wednesday.
This day in history, May 7th, 1920, the Group of Sevens first exhibition opened in the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto. May 7th, 1945, Germany signed an unconditional surrender ending the Second World War in Europe. And May 7th, 1994, Edvard Munch's The Scream was recovered 3 months after it was stolen from the National Gallery in Oslo, Norway.
In case you missed it, Nutrient Playland at Kinsman Park is scheduled to open just in time for Mother's Day. City of Saskatoon announcing the park will open for the season Sunday. Visitors can take in the ticketed rides. Tickets $3.50 each. You can get 8 for $21. One ticket will get you access to the Canpotex train, the Ferris wheel, and the carousel. Kids under 6, got to be with an adult. Tots 2 and under ride for free, though. Sand and climbing area, also free. Spray pad won't be open till June 1st, but it's there as well. Always a good time. Kids love this place. It's cool. On the Ferris wheel, nice view from up top.
The train.
Have you brought your
kids? No, I have not been.
I have not been either, so I guess that's my trip this summer.
Look at that. Maybe we can make it a work trip.
Yeah, let's somehow find a way to get paid to go there.
Somehow we can write it off somehow.
All right, we're asking you today, what's a bad habit that you're trying to kick? And I saw some solidarity in the answers from Gary saying, like me, he tried to quit using sugar. It lasted 3 days.
How many did you go?
I went
14?
I went 7 days.
7 days.
My goal was 14, and actually after 7, I realized there is added sugar in everything, and you don't realize how bad it is until you try to cut it out. I'm checking ingredients and everything. It's like bread, any crackers, everything has added sugar. Everything.
Cut the fun out of your life.
Yeah.
What else do we got on the big board?
Heather also said late night snacking. I've gotten better for that one. Trina saying online shoe shopping. Ooh, I like that one. I think Daryl wants me to pick that up. He disses my shoes most days.
No.
Lori saying
they could be cleaner.
Yeah, he wants me to get a magic eraser because I don't really.
It's a hack that I learned on the interwebs.
Lori saying Pepsi Slurpees. Yum. Carol saying trying to quit eating chips and smoking. If I could make my husband quit chips, I would be such a happy woman because he loves chips. Richard saying gotta quit being in the hospital so many times. Lots of trips. That's a bad habit.
If you had to pick one, you'd pick chips over smoking, though. So
that's true. That's true. Phil saying one bad habit every summer, stopping at garage sales. But why is that a bad habit? I think that's a great one.
Says the queen of estate sales.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. You're not buying it new. Garage sales are are good for the environment.
Well, it says right there, I have too much stuff. I mean, come on.
I too have too much stuff, but that's what storage is for. I have an unfinished basement where all my junk goes to.
I always call my wife a low-grade hoarder.
If you have a garage sale, I'm being really serious right now, message me. I will come to your garage sale and buy all of your used stuff.
Sure you will.
I am at every garage sale in the summer. I am at every estate sale.
Oh,
Donna saying playing solitaire on my phone.
That's it. We're going to take a time out on that note. Health news on the other side of this break.
As Spanish health officials work to find the most appropriate port for the Oceanwide Expeditions cruise ship, the company that runs it says strict health and safety procedures are currently in place, including isolation measures, hygiene protocols, and medical monitoring.
So it causes very severe respiratory disease. It causes fever, muscle aches, edema.
Sabra Klein with the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health says spillover of these viruses to people is very rare. There's no vaccine or cure, but since breathing in aerosols from the feces of infected rodents is the primary way for humans to become infected, she says to limit exposure, especially in areas where hantaviruses are known to be.
If anybody sees rodent excrement and in their home or in a campsite, which is another place where this can occur, you should not use a broom to sweep it up. You should not use a vacuum. You should spray down the area with some type of, 10% bleach solution or 70% alcohol solution to dampen all of the materials so that it can be scooped up without creating aerosols.
Klein says another rare way to spread hantavirus is through direct contact with bodily fluids from an infected person. But she says it doesn't spread human to human in the way other viruses like influenza and COVID-19 do. Because of that, and since hantavirus infection is rare, she says worries over travel aren't warranted.
Cruises are very popular. No, people should not be concerned about safety.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Joining us now is longtime Regina Liberal MP Ralph Goodale, has now served in a few other roles as well, including High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. We haven't checked in with you since then, so how was that experience for you in that 5-year appointment?
It was a fantastic experience in London. Pam and I had never lived outside the country for any extended period of time before, but London is a great place to be. It is a global listening post for diplomatic and political and strategic affairs. The relationship with the UK government is good and strong and solid, and it happened to be an incredibly busy period in global affairs. We started with Brexit and COVID, and very quickly the war in Ukraine started. All the changes in the royal family. The British government burned through 4 prime ministers while we were there. Another war started in Gaza, sadly, and then, of course, toward the end of our period there, a whole series of elections. One in the UK where the government changed, one in the United States where Donald Trump returned, and then a third one in Canada where the Prime Minister was the former governor of the Bank of England. So it was quite a busy period and a fascinating time to be the High Commissioner in London.
And then one of those elections having implications, actually probably 2 of those elections having implications on the role you're moving into now with this Canada-U.S. Advisory Council. So this is made up of a number of people from across different parties, including yourself, as well as a former Conservative leader, Erin O'Toole, and another Saskatchewan connection, the CEO of Nutrien, Ken Seitz. So what does it mean to you to be on this Advisory Council, and how did this role come about?
Well, the first meeting of the council was just a week ago, and I had the feeling that everybody around that table, all 25 of them, representing some of the biggest business corporations in the country, labor organizations, cultural organizations, different sectors of the economy, different regions of the country, and different political perspectives. I had the feeling that everybody had received an invitation they simply couldn't refuse. This is a time in international affairs for Canada where we are facing an existential threat, and all of those around that table were very anxious to make the most constructive contribution they can to defending and strengthening Canada's position. This July 1st date is a check-in point in terms of the existing CUSMA and whether the parties want to make changes to it. It's not a drop-dead date. There's no cliff that will fall off on the 2nd of July, and I think both countries have acknowledged that we will actually be talking considerably past the 1st of July in order to get the relationship right. What I have heard around the table so far is we need to keep our courage. We need to be focused because there will be lots of noise, lots of distractions, lots of bright, shiny objects running down rabbit holes, and we can't be distracted by all of that. We need to be focused on what Canada needs to achieve, and we need to be patient. Let's not be rushed into something that's premature that locks us into a bad situation for a long period of time. Remember, we've got leverage. We are the biggest market for 40 of the American states. The Americans sell more to Canada than they sell to China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. We are their biggest customer, and we are one of their biggest suppliers, particularly of energy products. So we've got leverage. We need to use it in a strategic way to get the result that Canada needs, and that is less vulnerability going forward. As much market access as we can gain, and as little vulnerability as we can protect ourselves.
Absolutely. That's about our time, Mr. Goodale. Thank you again so much for joining us, and we'll be sure to check in with you again sometime after that next set of meetings in June.
Thank you.
Good morning. The 2027 snowbird season may be in jeopardy. The snowbirds are an elite flying squad based in Moose Jaw. The planes have recently undergone a major upgrade that experts say could extend their life to 2030, including a glass cockpit update. Moose Jaw MP Fraser Tolmie sent what's called an SO31 to Minister of Defence David McGuinty in December, asking about their future, but has not received a response. In the letter, he says the Department of National Defence should be planning for the future, not cancelling the program. The Defense Department acknowledged the letter but did not reply to the question. Senator Denise Batters raised the question in the Senate and received no response there either. The snowbirds have an annual operating budget of about $10 to $15 million, which amounts to about 0.2% of the defense budget. CTV News has also learned the snowbirds' availability for air shows in 2027 has not yet been determined. The snowbirds are set to fly May 8th in BC before returning to Moose Jaw for their Friends and Family show on May 15th. CTV News reached out to the Department of Defense ourselves. They responded saying they'd get back to us and have yet to do so. More on this coming very soon at ctvnews.ca. Next, we go to the flooding situation in Saskatchewan, starting with the RM of Lakeside, east of Saskatoon, with Hallie Mandrick.
Body of water used to be Leslie Fetter's backyard, but many of his possessions now sit underwater thanks to the significant flooding which has impacted many in the Watson area.
You can see how the water got about 30 feet from the house by the shoreline, all the grass and reeds that are left over there. There was concern. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of water and you can't control it.
One of many communities under a state of local emergency due to the flooding, Watson is feeling the impacts of Saskatchewan's late snow melt.
No, it's going to be a lot of work to get things back to where it was and get things cleaned up and looking half decent again, but
The flooding has also been top of mind for emergency service workers like the Watson Fire Department.
There was a threat on Sunday morning. It went over the highway here west of town, and it was like, okay, we got to do something so our town doesn't flood. So basically at that point we set up detours, closed the highway down so no travelers were in jeopardy of getting hurt or anything. And then, yeah, from there it's basically you monitor, right? Mother Nature kind of does what she wants. And
Down the road, Quill Lake has been under a state of local emergency since last Friday after severe flooding has left a series of roads in and around the community impassable.
No, this is the highest water levels I've ever seen in my lifetime. I've heard stories that maybe it's been as high or higher before, but I've never seen it.
Friesen says 54 separate sites in the area have either been completely washed out or damaged.
The majority of our grids have been impacted, so a lot of them have been closed down. We were running around trying to find routes where people could get from home to town or kids to school and stuff like that on the week or for Monday, and it was a real struggle. Like, it added probably 50, 60 miles for some people.
While the flooding has caused a number of problems for the communities, Fetter says he's just thankful that everyone is safe.
Everybody's still standing, the house is still here, and like I said, now we can go fishing in the backyard if I want to.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, RM of Lakeside.
Turning now to Meadow Lake, where a flood has left the local food bank dealing with yet another setback. Laura Woodward reports.
Earl Gower has been relying on the Meadow Lake Soup Kitchen for 4 years.
I usually come here and have dinner every day.
He's one of about 100 people Meadow Lake Outreach Ministries feeds each day.
What would you like?
And he returns the favor, helping with cleanup.
Because they help me, I can help them.
Behind the soup kitchen is the food bank. Just last week, it was underwater.
It was a lot of water.
The flooding was triggered by a heavy spring snow melt and made worse by an aging building with poor drainage.
We took mops, we took vacuums, we tried to do whatever we could. We took buckets.
Staff rushed in to save supplies as city crews ran pumps inside.
We tried to get things dry as fast as we could.
The water damage has worsened existing black mold. It's the latest problem with this 90-year-old building.
And unfortunately, we have to put this blanket up here so we can block the cold from coming through this door and also the walls.
No matter where you look, it's falling apart. So we're between really needy and desperate.
And the flood may just be the tipping point, pushing the nonprofit toward a new build.
I'm just hoping and praying that we can get a new building. We really need it.
Right now, it's just a vacant lot, but Meadow Lake City Council has given the green light for the food bank to move here. The plan is to build a bigger space designed to help more people in need.
We're at this point talking two-story with offices basically upstairs. Downstairs would be the kitchen in the front and the food bank in the rear. And we're just toying with the idea of having perhaps some laundry facilities.
And a new, larger food bank has Gower's support.
Oh, I think it would be wonderful. This place is old, like me.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Meadow Lake.
The Regina Pats took a goaltender with their first pick in last night's WHL Prospects draft, taking Fletcher McDonald from Edmonton, 9th overall. He becomes the highest drafted goaltender in franchise history. He's 14, already 6'3", had a 2.87 goals against average last year, a .925 save percentage in 28 games. Saskatoon Blades, as you can see on your screen, took Tegan Derniski, a forward. Swift Current Broncos pair defenseman Jackson Bradbeer and Nathan Roberts. Here's the Pats GM on their goalie.
So the player we thought we would potentially get at number 9. We knew there were 3 or 4 high-end players that were probably going to go that we didn't have a shot at. And then for us, Fletcher was the next guy, and we're happy we got him.
Draft continues at 10 o'clock this morning. Kayleen, one last look outside. Light jacket to start, sweater midday, T-shirt by the end of the day?
Yeah, I'll just leave. I'll just go. Let's talk about the winds, though. Daryl didn't talk about the winds. I can do that one. Let me do that. The winds are going to be going up this afternoon, although we're seeing a very calm morning to start. The highest winds we're going to be seeing are right around Kindersley, where we're seeing that red color popping up later into the afternoon. Could be seeing them surpassing 50 kilometers per hour. Other than that, though, right along that border with Alberta, everywhere else in the province, we're going to be seeing some very low wind speeds. Today, it's going to be a nice calm afternoon with some really nice highs. 0 degrees right now to wake you up in Stony Rapids, -4 still through South End. That has consistently been our cold spot this morning. 1 degree in La Ronge, 2 degrees in Prince Albert, Nipawin and Hudson Bay, 4 degrees through Melfort, and 8 degrees to wake you up in Spiritwood. A really nice day there so far. 8 degrees in the Battlefords, still seeing a mix of sun and cloud throughout central Saskatchewan. 4 degrees in Saskatoon, 5 degrees through Regina, and again seeing those warmer temperatures in the southwest corner of the province, 8 degrees in East End and Swift Current. Into the afternoon today, we talked about right along that border with Alberta where we're seeing the strongest winds. That's also where we could be seeing a little bit of precipitation. Not really going to be impacting your whole day, though. We are going to be seeing a lot of sunshine and the warmest temperatures over there as well. 20 degrees for the Battlefords this afternoon and 20 degrees for Swift Current. Cooler as we look towards the Manitoba border. However, those are still right around the seasonal average. 15 degrees for Yorkton, 16 degrees for Estevan, 17 degrees for Weyburn. 16 degrees in Regina this afternoon and 18 degrees for Moose Jaw and Saskatoon. Let's turn our attention now to the 7-day forecast. Not looking so bad. 19 degrees tomorrow, although you do see that rain icon. That's going to be later into the afternoon. It's likely reaching Saskatoon first earlier on in the afternoon and then reaching us later. Then we do fall in terms of those temperatures for Saturday down to about 13 degrees. 18 degrees for Sunday, 18 degrees for Monday. Also seeing some more rain on the radar. 20 degrees by Tuesday with that sunshine and 22 degrees for Wednesday with a mix of sun and cloud. In Saskatoon, again, as we mentioned, some more of that rain on the way tomorrow early in the afternoon. 17 degrees though, and winds could be going up tomorrow, so we'll be prepared for that. Dropping down for temperatures on Saturday, 14 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds, 17 degrees by Sunday. Some more rain on the way for Monday, as we mentioned, but a nice high of 19 degrees, and then back up into those 20s for Tuesday and Wednesday. 21 degrees expected for both of those days with a bit more of that cloud cover for Wednesday.
In Regina, the Mayor's Luncheon is coming up on May 7th at the Connexus Arts Centre. It's a key fundraiser for the Caring Place. Tim Keeley is their Executive Director in studio with us this morning. Tim, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Daryl.
Remind us what the Caring Place is all about.
So the Caring Place is a charitable nonprofit counseling firm. We're in our 35th year of operation right now. We provide counseling services for individuals, couples, families. We do group sessions, and we also do workplace workshops, which is around education and prevention from a workplace perspective to help employees, management work together, and challenges might be happening.
Of course, we always have those conversations about mental health, especially with Bell Let's Talk Day and our connection to that. Why is this such a big space for you guys and what you're trying to do and involving the mayor in the luncheon here?
This has been a long-going tradition with the city. The mayor's luncheon has gone on for about 12 years now in total. A bit of a gap there because of the pandemic, so we're super excited that Mayor Baczynski has decided this was something of importance again and get it reinitiated, so we're going to go. We are a nonprofit, so what happens is the funds that we get from our two main fundraising events allow us to actually subsidize rates for clients coming through the door. So it increases accessibility and affordability for counseling services for people that may not be able to afford full rate.
When I walk through the door of this luncheon, what do I expect?
You're going to expect a lot of fun. Woody is the MC. Him and I were having a chat last night about some of the fun we're going to have to start it off. And Evan Bray is our keynote speaker. So his experiences as a previous police chief, what he saw on the streets, and the shift and change with mental health. And the message really is about hope. There is hope, there is help, there's support out there, and we want to really promote the fact that we are accessible and affordable, and come and see us.
That's that message, hope, that keeps people going. Absolutely. Are you seeing more people through your doors these days?
You know, we are. And again, a positive from the pandemic is virtual. real uptick in people that maybe would not otherwise be able to access it with virtual are accessing support. And we're seeing a bit of a shift in the last couple of years, more men kind of the 25 to 50, 55, and
kind of normalizing that conversation a little bit.
The stigma's going down, and I think a lot of it is things like Bell Let's Talk. I mean, it's becoming okay to talk about it.
That's a nice thing, right?
Absolutely.
You said 2 major fundraisers. This is one of them. And where can you get tickets for the Connexus Arts Centre on the 7th?
It's today at noon. Tickets are sold. Sorry, I should have got here earlier. But we do have a second fundraiser.
And that is the golf tournament?
That is the golf tournament, yes.
Tell us about that one.
So it's the Ryan Schlechter Memorial Golf Tournament. The Ryan Schlechter Foundation partnered with the Caring Place about 4 years ago now, so we're the charity of choice for them. It's been 10 years since Ryan's passing, so it's all about remembering Ryan. This is the 6th annual tournament. It's at the Royal Regina Golf Club on Monday, July 6th. Prizes like $100,000 hole-in-one. You got a boat, we got a trip, and a whole bunch of other stuff and fun things going on. So this is the 6th annual, and we can just go to thecaringplace.ca and we can hook you up with all the details, be it sponsorship or tickets or whatever you need to know.
There you go. Or if you need some of the services that the Caring Place offers, thecaringplace.ca is your connection. Thanks, Tim.
Awesome.
Could be the twist, the one to make you stop. The icing on your cake, the cherry on the top. It's heaven in my heart, and we could find you some space. When did you get high all of a sudden? I could look you up and down all day. When did you get high? I think I would remember if you had a laugh face. I don't wanna talk down, I don't wanna be a whore. I just know it can be better, be better.
Now, the latest on the Saskatchewan Roughriders as rookie camp gets underway in Saskatoon. Teams looking at some changes in the receiver room this year, while there is still a starting spot on the offensive line up for grabs.
Here comes Saskatchewan again, and that one to Emilus. 10, 5, touchdown!
The receiving corps will be led by fifth-year rider Samuel Emilus, named the Grey Cup's most outstanding Canadian after a 10-catch, 106-yard performance, as well as Keyshawn Johnson, last year's team-leading receiver with 1,159 yards. But with the departure of Dante Myers, Joe Robustelli, Sean Bain Jr., and Tommy Neild, the Riders will need players to step up. On the Canadian side, Kian Schaefer-Baker, hampered by injuries last year, will be looking to regain his 2022 form, where he had 960 receiving yards, while Dell Duncan Busby will get a second chance to grab a consistent starting spot. 2025 Canada West Player of the Year Daniel Wiebe looks to make the jump from university to the pros, while Deshaun Mims is fighting for more opportunities in his second season. This year's draft picks Dylan Gité and Shamar McBean will also be in the mix. As for American receivers, COC Mariner joined the team in October and has CFL experience with Ottawa in 2022. After that, there are 7 rookies with varying experience from NFL stints to straight out of college. The offensive line will be led by 2025 Most Outstanding Lineman winner Jamarcus Hardrick and All-CFL selection Canadian Logan Furland. Tackle Peyton Collins and guard Jacob Bramer also return, giving the Riders 4 of their 5 starters from last year's Grey Cup. The question remains of who takes the last starting spot. On the Canadian front, Zach Fry and Daniel Johnson have both started for the Riders before. Free agent Dylan Black, 2025 draft pick Eric Anderson, this year's third-rounder Darius Bell, and fifth-rounder Jez Janvier will look to make a good impression at camp. As for Americans, Darius Washington played 4 games for the Riders last season, while 7 CFL rookies will be at camp, including Percy Lewis IV, who is listed at 380 pounds, the heaviest player in Rider history.
Well, most people know Russell Peters as a comedian, but he is also a music lover. And in fact, he showed off his music knowledge at a recent festival in Toronto. And CTV's Andrea Case was there.
The party to kick off the second annual Departure Festival and Conference had a very special DJ spinning the tunes and setting the tone. In addition to being a world-famous comedian, Toronto-born Russell Peters has another skill. Who knew you could DJ?
You didn't know?
I did not know.
Forever. I've been DJing for 41 years.
Wow, so it's your side gig?
No, it was what I did before stand-up. It's how I used to make money when I wasn't making money doing stand-up.
But if you see Peters behind the turntables, don't ask for a request.
No requests. That's like telling me, what joke do you want to hear tonight? No, it's the same game. You're running the audience, you're controlling their mood, their emotions. You want them to feel happy, you want them to dance, or you want them to sulk and sit back and reminisce. Whatever it is, you're in charge of that.
Today it's back to work, comedy work, with 2 shows in California.
Let me just tell you what the past 6 days or past week looked like. I did 6 shows in Irvine, California last week, and not this last weekend. Then on Monday, not this Monday, the last Monday, I flew from LA to San Francisco to Dubai. I arrived in Dubai Tuesday night. I did a gig Wednesday afternoon. I caught a flight from Dubai Thursday morning. Dubai to San Francisco to Phoenix. 4 shows in Phoenix. Wake up, fly to Toronto, have dinner with Mom, come down here.
How is Mom?
She's great. She's 85 years old and still kicking.
Russell Peters may be leaving town, but there's still lots for you to see and do at Departure Festival and Conference. And there'll be an award show on Thursday featuring Sarah McLachlan, Jacob Tierney, and a host of others. The whole thing wraps up on Sunday. Andrea Case, CTV News.
If nature is medicine, one self-described grumpy man in Victoria is making sure he gets several doses each week.
Yeah, he says spending time outdoors helps him appreciate his life and connect with a friend who is no longer in it. Adam Sawatsky, no relation, explains.
Well, the baby birds don't seem to have a care in the world. The same couldn't always be said for Alan.
Thinking of what I have to do today, what I have to do tomorrow, worry about politics, worried about the news.
The sorts of things Alan would joke and debate about with his friends.
Our main thing was to have grumpy old guys' lunches.
Yet here he is now, watching a gaggle of goslings indulge in their lunch.
Being in nature softens the edges.
Like sandpaper can smooth the roughest wood, downy birds seem to have the power to soften the toughest people.
Takes the edges off.
Which is why Alan started, at least 4 days a week, to stop at places like this.
It's just a way of clearing my mind.
Which can make room to see all sorts of things, including this new feathered family, differently than we did.
It's a cycle of life to see animals in nature as well as to deal with your own mortality.
And that's why, after appreciating the birds, Alan will wander over to the water.
And I always just come up beside the bench here.
To visit the bench dedicated to his late friend, Jack.
I learned from him to be more tolerant and to listen to people and to just accept the way they are.
And instead of being overwhelmed by the politics that divide us or the news that worries us, these moments have taught Alan to focus on what connects and comforts us.
Take care of each other. Be aware of your friends, your family, and your community, and do what you can.
And on this journey, from the beginning of life to the inevitable end of it, take the time to relish every moment in between. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Oh, just ducky.
Farmers in... Oh, sorry. Let's talk about the...
No, please, Jeremy, please.
Please, Jeremy, talk about the farmers in Alaska.
No.
We don't need the fun animation.
Sidebar?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Nah. Oh.
It's a fun animation.
I'm sorry.
It's a fun animation.
Sorry.
It's all good. You're up. What's up?
Jumping the gun. All right, farmers in Alaska, they're trying to drive home a buy local message with their annual Drive Your Tractor to Work Day.
Picture taken in the tire every year.
Yeah, they held a small parade. 54 tractors ahead of a free potato giveaway. Life is different in Alaska. Yep. It's part of the $5 challenge they're promoting, challenging people to try and spend at least $5 on local produce every time they go to the grocery store, because just 5% of produce in Alaska is locally sourced. So
I think I just heard recently about a Saskatchewan town that had drive anything but a car to school day. Their high school, like, you drive your golf cart or motorbike or whatever.
Your go-kart
instead of
school.
Oh man, I would drive a go-kart to work.
We've been talking about getting
anything electric.
Yeah, anything electric to get to work in the morning. We don't live too far from the station.
Gas is $1.90 a liter, folks. That's at a cheap place. The skies in parts of southwest China are being lit up by one spectacular drone show. It features thousands of lit up drones moving in sync with music in the night sky. The highlight, of course, is during the finale as the drones are organized to form a glowing red pomegranate meant to represent unity and mutual support among all ethnic groups in the country.
I like that you paused to say pomegranate.
That's not a real word. I'm also trying to see the animation. You can't see both at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it's tough.
Flower.
These are getting more elaborate every time I see one. Incredible.
But would you rather see an elaborate drone show, or would you rather see a classic fireworks show?
Are they? But here's my question: are they automated in some way, or are there like 150 people driving these things?
I think they're all pre-programmed.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's set up for sure. It's too perfect, right?
I like the idea of humans having jobs. We're back tomorrow. See you then.